The Bold and the Beautiful has captivated global audiences with its dazzling fashion world and emotionally charged family dramas, especially those surrounding the iconic Forrester dynasty. But behind the glamour, some of the most beloved actors who brought these stories to life have sadly passed away, some too soon, due to tragic and unexpected circumstances. In this tribute, we remember the unforgettable stars of The Bold and the Beautiful who are no longer with us, honoring their legacy and the lasting impact they made on screen. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's go. Darlene Connley as Sally Spectra. Darlene Connley was born on July 18, 1934, in Chicago, and was an Irish-American actress. In 1989, when she was 52 years old, she officially stepped into television legend with her role as Sally Spectra on The Bold and the Beautiful, a flamboyant, bold fashion designer always ready to clash with the Forrester family. For 18 years, she brought audiences a lively, clever, and unyielding Sally. This role also earned her the distinction of being the only soap opera character to be immortalized in wax at Madame Tussauds in both Amsterdam and Las Vegas. But behind the glamorous image of the Spectra Queen was a life steeped in pain. Connley began her career at age 15 on Broadway and spent over 50 years working tirelessly in theater, film, and television, supporting roles in The Birds, Valley of the Dolls, and Lady Sings the Blues didn't bring her instant fame. She patiently waited and worked, taking numerous minor roles in TV shows and soap operas before landing the life-changing part on The Bold and the Beautiful. In the 1980s, Darlene experienced a secret love affair with a famous director, a tense relationship kept hidden from the media to protect reputations. Rumors about the romance once shook Hollywood. In 2004, a serious fall left her with multiple fractures, forcing her to use a wheelchair during filming. Still, she bravely returned to set, showing her devotion until the very end. But in 2006, her health rapidly declined after being diagnosed with stomach cancer. That devastating illness took Darlene's life on January 14, 2007, when she was just 72 years old. The Bold and the Beautiful held a heartfelt tribute led by her co-star John McCook, Michael Fox as Saul Fineberg. Michael Fox entered the world on February 27, 1921, in Yonkers, New York. When he was 66 years old, a time when many people are already retired, he began making a major mark in his career as Saul Fineberg in The Bold and the Beautiful. In the show, Saul was the loyal assistant and confidant of Sally Spectra, always seen with a measuring tape around his neck, a symbol of his dedication and quiet contribution. Before Saul, Fox had appeared in Perry Mason, Falcon Crest, and numerous other popular television shows. However, he wasn't just a seasoned TV actor. He also made history in the field of education as the fictional Dr. Myron L. Fox in a famous academic experiment. In his private life, Michael Fox was discreet. He married actress Hannah, whom he met during a stage play, and they held their wedding between two performances, on a car borrowed from Dorothy Gish. But the stage lights couldn't mask the fatigue. In his later years, Fox faced the strain of constant work to maintain a film contract. The stress of Hollywood's harsh environment, combined with advancing age, made him increasingly vulnerable. On June 1, 1996, Michael Fox died of pneumonia in Woodland Hills, Los Angeles, at the age of 75. His death was quietly acknowledged in The Bold and the Beautiful, a final farewell to the man who quietly supported the soul of the series. Betty White as Anne Douglas. Betty Marion White was born on January 17, 1922, in Oak Park, Illinois, and was one of the most iconic figures in American television. When she was 84 years old, she appeared in The Bold and the Beautiful as Anne Douglas, the cold but insightful mother of Stephanie Forrester. The role added emotional depth to the show's complex family dynamics and proved that, at any age, Betty could still capture the audience's attention completely. Her career spanned over 7 decades, starting in post-Watu radio and continuing with her becoming the first woman to produce a sitcom, Life with Elizabeth, 1953. She was known as the First Lady of American game shows. Her roles as the sweet Rose Nyland in The Golden Girls and the cheeky Sue Ann Nivens in The Mary Tyler Moore Show made her a comedy legend. Betty's personal life wasn't without heartache. She experienced 3 marriages but found true love with her last husband, TV host Alan Ludden. After he died of cancer in 1981, she never remarried, stating, "Once you've had the best, who needs the rest?" Though she had no biological children, she was a devoted stepmother and a loyal friend in the artistic world. Close to both John Steinbeck and Tom Sullivan, the greatest shock came on December 31st, 2021, just 17 days before her 100th birthday. Betty White passed away in her sleep at home from a stroke at the age of 99. The world was stunned by the loss. Joseph Mascolo as Massimo Marone. Joseph Peter Mascolo was born on March 13, 1929, in West Hartford, Connecticut. When he was 72 years old, he appeared in The Bold and the Beautiful as Massimo Marone, a powerful, wealthy business tycoon and the secret biological father of Ridge Forrester. The role delivered a series of shocking and cunning plot twists, cementing Mascolo's place in the soap opera world. Before that, Mascolo was already a household name thanks to his legendary villain role as Stefano Di Mera in Days of Our Lives. He portrayed the immortal Stefano for over 3 decades, becoming a character both feared and loved by fans. Away from the spotlight, his life was marked by quiet trials. His first wife, Rose Mimone, passed away in 1986, leaving him with a son. Nearly 20 years later, he found love again with his second wife, Patricia Schultz. Yet hardship returned. In 2015, Mascolo suffered a stroke that forced him to say goodbye to his long-running role as Stefano, a character he had lived with for more than half his life. Behind the warm smile on screen was a silent battle with Alzheimer's, a disease that slowly stripped away his memory, his speech, and eventually, the bright aura that once surrounded him. On December 8, 2016, Joseph Mascolo passed away in Santa Clarita, California, at the age of 87. He was laid to rest at Forest Lawn, Hollywood Hills, among many of cinema's greatest stars. Jeff Conaway as Mick Savage, Jeffrey Charles William. Michael Conaway was born on October 5, 1950, in Manhattan, New York, and was once one of the brightest stars of 1970s Hollywood. When he was 39 years old, he joined The Bold and the Beautiful as Mick Savage, a complex character radiating both charm and darkness. But behind the stage lights was a life filled with shadows. From the earliest years of his career, Jeff was haunted by childhood trauma. He had been abused, psychologically tormented by peers, and raised in a broken home. A back injury sustained during the filming of Grease left him dependent on painkillers, marking the beginning of a decades-long nightmare of addiction. He publicly battled addiction to cocaine, alcohol, and prescription drugs on multiple occasions. His appearance on Celebrity Rehab with Dr. Drew shocked audiences as they witnessed him in anguish, teetering between life and death, sometimes expressing suicidal thoughts. Even his close friend John Travolta once tried to help him escape the grip of addiction through spiritual healing, but to no avail. 3 failed marriages, a plummeting career, and shattered trust pushed Jeff into a spiral of self-destruction. On May 11, 2011, he was found unconscious at home from pneumonia combined with a drug overdose. After several days in a coma, his family decided to remove life support. Jeff Conaway passed away on the morning of May 27, 2011, when he was just 60 years old. The official cause of death was determined to be pneumonia due to aspiration and brain damage, direct consequences of years of substance dependence. A once brilliant star of Broadway film and television was ultimately buried under the weight of past trauma and the crushing demands of fame. Andrea Evans as Tawny Moore. Andrea Lynn Evans was born on June 18, 1957, in Aurora, Illinois, and was one of the most prominent actresses in American daytime television. When she was 42 years old, she appeared in The Bold and the Beautiful as Tawny Moore, a manipulative mother who constantly meddled in her daughter's life. Though the role was not long-lasting, Tawny Moore made a lasting impression as a key link in B&B's ever-twisting family drama. Behind the scenes, Andrea Evans lived in constant fear. She was stalked to the point where her assailant broke into a studio with the intent to kill her. The terrifying incident forced Andrea to abruptly leave One Life to Live in early 1990, just as she was at the peak of her fame. For nearly a decade after, she vanished entirely from the public eye. Returning in the late 1990s, Evans proved her enduring appeal through roles in Passion's The Bay and a final return to OLTL during its last episodes, bringing closure to the iconic romance of Tina and Cord, one of daytime television's most beloved couples. Her career spanned nearly 5 decades, earning multiple Emmy nominations and the status of daytime diva adored across America. Yet behind the camera, Andrea Evans battled a silent enemy: breast cancer. For years, she balanced her career while undergoing treatment and raising her adopted daughter, whom she welcomed in 2004. Sadly, Andrea Evans passed away on July 9, 2023, at her home in Pasadena, California, at the age of 66. Her death marked a profound loss for fans of the soap opera genre. Phyllis Diller as Glattis Pope. Phyllis Ada Diller was born on July 17, 1917, in Lima, Ohio, and was one of the first women to break through barriers in American comedy. When she was 78 years old, she joined The Bold and the Beautiful as Glattis Pope, a quirky, hilarious hairdresser and beloved supporting character for nearly a decade. But Glattis was only a small piece of the brilliant tapestry Diller painted throughout nearly a century, through laughter, boldness, and an indomitable spirit. Before entering the world of screen acting, Diller was a housewife raising 6 children. She began her comedy career when she was 37 years old, at a time when there was virtually no place for a middle-aged woman with spiky hair, garish dresses, and the audacity to joke about being as ugly as sin. But that very courage created an irreplaceable icon. Diller not only wrote thousands of her own jokes, but also shattered gender norms in an industry riddled with prejudice, inspiring future generations, including Joan Rivers, Roseanne Barr, and Ellen DeGeneres. Still, fame came with a cost. Diller experienced failed marriages, the loss of 2 of her 6 children, and endured the physical pain of aging, from arthritis to a broken back to heart stoppage. Yet she continued performing until the age of 85 and kept working until her final year. Phyllis Diller died on August 20, 2012, at her home in Brentwood, Los Angeles, at the age of 95 due to heart failure. Her ashes were scattered at sea, reflecting the life philosophy she always lived by. If you can't laugh at yourself, you shouldn't be in comedy. Joseph Campanella as Jonathan Young. Joseph Campanella was born on November 21, 1924, in Manhattan, New York. He took on the role of Jonathan Young in The Bold and the Beautiful in 1996, when he was 72 years old, a time when many would retire, yet he continued to captivate audiences. In the show, Jonathan Young was a calm, shrewd attorney and loyal legal advisor to the Forrester family, always arriving at just the right moment to untangle complicated issues of wealth and power. But behind the glitz of the screen, Campanella's life was one of quiet resilience. The son of Italian immigrants, he grew up in a poor family in Washington Heights and served in the U.S. Navy when he was just 18 years old. After the war, he attended college, became a radio announcer, and eventually found his way to acting. Campanella's career spanned more than half a century with over 200 roles, both large and small. Yet his personal life was challenged by Parkinson's disease, the silent enemy that slowly consumed his body over many years. A cruel neurological condition, Parkinson's gradually robs a person of movement, speech, and independence. For someone who once stood tall before the camera, portraying powerful, eloquent men, the illness was a devastating blow both physically and mentally. Joseph Campanella passed away on May 16, 2018, at his home in Sherman Oaks, California, at the age of 93. The cause was complications from Parkinson's disease after a long, quiet struggle. There was no grand farewell, no spotlight to see him off. He left this world as he lived in it, quietly, courageously, and with unwavering dignity. Robert Clary as Pierre Jourdan. Robert Clary, born Robert Max Widerman on March 1, 1926, in Paris, France, joined The Bold and the Beautiful in 1990 when he was 64 years old, playing Pierre Jourdan, a charming, refined character who brought a distinct French flair to American daytime television. But behind that gentle image was a man who had emerged from one of the darkest chapters of the 20th century. Because of his Jewish heritage, Clary was sent to a Nazi concentration camp when he was just 16 years old. He used his singing voice to survive, performing for SS officers every Sunday. While 12 of his immediate family members were killed at Auschwitz, Clary became the sole survivor. He carried the tattooed number of 5714 on his forearm for the rest of his life, a permanent reminder never to forget. After the war, Clary did not collapse. He returned to the arts, moved to the United States, and became a star on Hogan's Heroes, a hit sitcom set in a German POW camp. Clary always emphasized that Hogan's Heroes was not a joke about the Holocaust, but a show about prisoners of war, a very different context. Even so, acting in an environment that echoed his traumatic past was never easy. Clary married Natalie Cantor, the daughter of comedian Eddie Cantor, in 1965. They had no children. After her passing in 1997, he lived a quiet life, continuing to share his painful memories with younger generations. Robert Clary died in Los Angeles on November 16, 2022, at the age of 96. No cause of death was announced, but after a lifetime spent navigating between art, memory, and humanity, perhaps he had finally found peace. David L. Lander as Dr. Marty Guthrie. David L. Lander was born on June 22, 1947, in Brooklyn, New York, and began appearing on The Bold and the Beautiful in 1997, when he was 50 years old. In the series, he played Dr. Marty Guthrie, a colorful, dramatic figure who left his mark with signature humor and versatile acting. But behind the laughter was a quiet tragedy. In 1984, at the height of his career, Lander was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, MS, a chronic disease that attacks the central nervous system, causing progressive loss of mobility and constant pain. For 15 years, he kept the diagnosis private, acting while silently battling the fear of losing control over his body. It wasn't until 1999 that he revealed the condition publicly and became an inspiring spokesperson for the MS community. Though his health declined over time, David Lander continued to act, voice characters in animated productions like A Bug's Life, Garfield, The Simpsons, Green Lantern, and also worked as a baseball scout, his second passion. In his memoir, Fall Down Laughing, he recounted his journey with illness using wit and a rare spirit of optimism. David L. Lander died on December 4, 2020, at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles, due to complications from MS. He was 73 years old. More than just a gifted comedic actor, he proved that a humorous heart can defy even the harshest blows of illness. Fran Bennett as Judge Madeline Collins. Fran Bennett was born on August 14, 1937, in Malvern, Arkansas, a small southern town, but her life stretched across grand stages and iconic TV series. In 1987, when she was 50 years old, she joined The Bold and the Beautiful as Judge Madeline Collins, a stern yet compassionate judge. Though her appearances were occasional, her character added meaningful social commentary to a show otherwise known for love triangles and family feuds. Unlike many peers who sought Hollywood stardom, Fran Bennett carved her path through academia and classical theater. She was one of the few African-American actresses frequently cast in major TV series like Roots, The Next Generations, Dynasty, General Hospital, In the Heat of the Night, ER, and Scandal. With her deep, commanding voice and regal presence, she often portrayed doctors, professors, and judges, roles that mirrored the strength and wisdom of a black woman who had lived through cultural prejudice. Alongside acting, from 1996 to 2003, she served as the head of performance at CalArts, California Institute of the Arts, mentoring countless future artists in the entertainment industry. Teaching was not just a job. It was a mission she pursued with the same conviction seen in her screen roles. In 2019, when she was 82 years old, Fran Bennett was still strong enough to perform and live in front of a studio audience, playing Mother Olivia Jefferson, once again proving the timeless power of her craft. She passed away on September 12, 2021 in Los Angeles, at the age of 84. Her cause of death was natural. While her life may have lacked dramatic headlines, Bennett silently carried the weight of balancing academia and a 6-decade acting career. She left behind a quiet legacy, the dignity of performance and the unwavering resolve of a woman who never settled for mediocrity. Leslie Woods as Grandma Helen Logan. Leslie Woods was born on August 22, 1910, and was one of the veteran actresses of American stage and television with a career spanning over 6 decades. In 1987, when she was 77 years old, she joined The Bold and the Beautiful as Helen Logan, the gentle, quiet grandmother of the Logan family. Woods made a lasting impression with her warmth, poise, and timeless elegance that few of her peers could match. She began on Broadway with plays like Double Dummy, 1936, and Comes the Revelation, 1942, where critics praised her as subtle, sincere, and exceptionally effective. Later, she made her mark in radio and television with shows such as Days of Our Lives and Dallas. Yet behind the curtain was a difficult path. As an older woman in an industry that often favors youth, Woods was frequently overlooked by producers and faced the threat of losing roles simply because of her age. Rather than step back, she confronted these biases with her fierce acting talent, proving that skill does not fade with time. Woods was once married to actor Richard McMurray and became stepmother to actor Sam McMurray. Sadly, she passed away of natural causes on August 2, 2003, just 20 days before her 93rd birthday. Leslie Woods's life is a testament to unwavering perseverance and an eternal love for her craft. Kevin Dobson as Judge Devon Owens. Kevin Dobson was born on March 18, 1943, in Jackson Heights, New York, and was a veteran American television actor. He took on the role of Judge Devon Owens in The Bold and the Beautiful in 2006, when he was 63 years old. On the show, his character was the voice of reason amidst the legal battles that unfolded in Los Angeles. Before rising to television fame, Dobson served as a military police officer in the Army and later worked as a train conductor and waiter. His career truly took off when he played Detective Bobby Crocker in the hit series Kojak, 1973 to 1978, alongside Telly Savalas. But behind the spotlight was a difficult road. He once had to borrow a suit for his audition, failed twice, and only on the third attempt, thanks to sheer perseverance, did he land the role that changed his life. He married his wife Susan in 1968, and they had 3 children, a solid family life amid the storms of the entertainment industry. Yet Dobson's life wasn't without struggle. He suffered from an autoimmune deficiency, a silent disease that gradually weakened his body. On September 6, 2020, Kevin Dobson passed away in Stockton, California, at the age of 77. His death was mourned not only in the entertainment world, but also by thousands of veterans whom he had long supported. James Duhan as Damon Warwick. James Duhan was born on March 3, 1920 in Vancouver, Canada, and is considered one of the greatest television icons of the 20th century. When he played Damon Warwick in The Bold and the Beautiful in 1995, at 75 years old, fans were reminded that he was not only the beloved engineer Scotty from Star Trek, but also a man who had endured war, loss, and a long battle with personal health. Few knew that before his screen fame, Duhan had fought on the front lines of World War II. During the historic D-Day landings in Normandy, he was accidentally shot 6 times by a fellow Allied soldier. One bullet went through his chest, but a silver cigarette case in his pocket saved his life. He lost a finger, which he cleverly concealed throughout his acting career, using gloves and camera angles. That miraculous survival helped forge a performer who never gave in. After the war, he moved into radio, television, and ultimately his iconic role as the brilliant Scottish engineer in Star Trek. With his distinctive voice and devoted character, Duhan inspired thousands of young people to pursue careers in engineering. But fame came at a cost. After Star Trek, he was typecast, struggling to escape the shadow of Scotty, and battled alcoholism, diabetes, high blood pressure, arthritis, and hearing loss. In his final years, he suffered from Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease, leading him to retire from public life in 2004. James Duhan passed away on July 20, 2005, at the age of 85, due to complications from pulmonary fibrosis, possibly caused by chemical exposure during the war. But his death was anything but ordinary. His ashes were sent into space, and some were secretly placed aboard the International Space Station. Fred Willard as John Forrester. Fred Willard, born on September 18, 1933, in Ohio, was a one-of-a-kind American comedian. He joined The Bold and the Beautiful in 2013, when he was 80 years old, as John Forrester, a character who added charm and light-hearted humor to a series known for intense drama. Though it was a supporting role, he left a lasting impression with his effortless comedy and stage presence built over 6 decades in show business. Fred was a standout in mockumentaries like This Is Spinal Tap and Best in Show, and he shone as Frank Dunphy in Modern Family. His career was filled with laughter and accolades, but life behind the curtain wasn't always joyful. In 2012, a year before joining B&B, Fred was arrested at an adult theater for allegedly inappropriate conduct. Although no charges were filed and he maintained his innocence, the incident severely impacted his reputation and led to his dismissal from a PBS program. He later described the episode as painful and humiliating, leaving an emotional scar. Still, Willard continued working hard, appearing in comedies and voicing animated characters until his final days. However, his health declined, partly due to age and partly from the lingering stress of public scrutiny. Fred Willard died on May 15, 2020, at the age of 86 at his home in Los Angeles. The cause was cardiac arrest, with underlying coronary artery disease and myelodysplastic syndrome contributing. He was laid to rest at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Hollywood Hills, final resting place of many Hollywood greats. The Bold and the Beautiful is more than just a soap opera. It's a tribute to the unforgettable memories created by the talented actors who have passed on. Their legacy lives on in every episode. Which moment from these stars do you remember most? Share it in the comments and let's keep their stories alive together.